it's Amy, and I cannot believe that we are already in October. Not only did September fly by in a unusually fast pace, but this year has just gone by. Like, seriously, how are we at the end of this year? So being in a new month means let's talk about all the books that I read last month, and then I'm going to briefly kind of go over some of the books that I possibly would maybe want to get into in October. I have a couple readathons that I'm going to attempt to be a part of, so those I may choose like from this stack that I have chosen, or completely other different books. So without further ado, let's talk about the books that I read in September. So the first book, we are literally about 15-20 pages left of this book, and that is Hollowpox, the third book in the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. We seriously have like 20 pages, so I'm counting it as a September finish, and I'm absolutely loving this book. I can't go into any detail in the third book without spoiling the first two books, but the series follows this girl, Morgan Crow, who is considered a cursed child until she is brought into this other world called Nevermore, and she encounters just an amazing cast of characters, and it's just such a good, fun series. So if you're looking for a good middle grade series, or really just a fun fantasy adventure, I definitely recommend the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. Next book that I actually finished in September is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this follows Avery, who is just this average girl. She is living her life wanting to graduate high school and go off to college to hopefully make a better life than that she is living. And then she finds out that she hasn't inherited this very, very wealthy man's, not just his money, but his whole estate and all of his holdings, that she has been named the sole heir of this fortune. The only catch is that she has to live in the house that he has, along with the family that has basically been disinherited. And it's basically just this like game of like, why was she chosen? What is her significance? And what was this old man doing? Like, what was the purpose of everything that is going on? And the book ends in a pretty big cliffhanger, and I'm looking forward to picking up the second book. I'm on hold to my library for the second book, so maybe it will come in October and I can read the second book. So if you're looking for just a fun game type book that gets a little bit dark but isn't like really dark, I definitely recommend The Inheritance Game. The next book that I'm going to talk about is 10 Rules for Faking It by Sophie Sullivan. This book follows Everly, and the book starts off on her birthday, which she believes everything bad that has ever happened for her has always happened on her birthday, and she absolutely hates it, and this birthday is no exception. And so she decides to make it through her 30s. She's going to give herself 10 rules to help her get out of her comfort zone, to actually live life, to experience new things. And then her boss presents this idea for the radio station to help boost ratings. He asks if she would be part of a dating show. And so she decides that, okay, this is part of the rules that I have put out for myself. I'm gonna give it a go. And if that was what the book was actually about, if it actually focused around that, I think that it would have been a fantastic book. This is definitely a slow burn book, and so much so that throughout the time that I was reading this, I'm like, it's not so much slow burn, it is you trying to build a fire with wet logs while it's raining with only 2 sticks to rub together. It's so slow. And then on top of the ridiculously slow burn of this book, it really deals more with mental health and anxiety. Everly is a very anxious person, and I think that the book does a fairly good job of showing what it's like to live with high anxiety, but the book is not presented as that. And so if the book was presented as, hey, this is a book about anxiety and mental health and how not just you deal with it, how you deal with it in everyday life, but how can you thrive whilst coping with anxiety. I think that would make this book so much better because I would have gone into the book with a different mindset. I was going into it thinking it was going to be this fluff contemporary read. It is not that. So I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5 stars because it was so heavy and there was nothing to cut the heaviness because the relationship was also very slow burn. And so just know that the cover looks like it's going to be cutesy, and it's not. I'm not giving it a 3 out of 5 stars because it deals with anxiety. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 stars because the book is not about what it portrays it to be, and it was very heavy, and the romance was way too slow burn. Like, it was so unsatisfied and so frustrating. So anyway, if that sounds like a good book for you, pick this book up. What's up, buddy? What?
I did it.
You did what?
I jumped over my sand.
You jumped over your sand?
Yeah.
Do you want to be on the video?
Yeah.
Can you say hi?
Hi.
This is Z.
Yeah.
I'm talking about books. And the last book that I finished in September is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the illustrated edition. I actually started this last year, and it's taken me that long to read it, mainly because I know the story, and I was just rereading it to to see the illustrations. It was fun, and the illustrations are absolutely beautiful, and it just enhances the story and the world, and these are just some of my favorite books. So let's move on to the books that I possibly will get to in the month of October. There are 2 that I am currently in the middle of that one I will for sure finish, and that is Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I'm almost finished. I'm like 60 pages from the end. I was hoping to finish this yesterday, but I just couldn't get through it. I'm really enjoying this. I have to say the first like 2-3 chapters of this book, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this because it's pretty heavy. But I had a friend that has read it and just said, just keep plugging on. It doesn't like necessarily get like super like really, really hopeful, but she described it as It's a Wonderful Life, which I have to say, like, even though it's not about someone that goes back to see like what life would be like without them, it definitely has that kind of atmosphere of, yeah, there's like that. It's very melancholy. There's not a lot of like laughter. It's not like something that's gonna just bring you great joy and happiness, but it's very thought-provoking. It does have some like warm feelings in it, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to finishing this book. The next book that I possibly will get to and finish is Better Together by Christine Riccio. I read her first book, which is Again But Better, and I started this book in August, I think, and I've gotten 80 pages or so into it, and even though it's decent, I'm just not loving the 2 main characters. I actually pretty much hate them both, and I don't know exactly how this book is going to go. It's portrayed as a like Parent Trap-esque type book, but the fact is that they're not twins. They are sisters, but they're not twins. And how it goes down, it's a little weird. And so I'm hoping that once I get into the story that it will get better, because I remember reading Again But Better and how I wasn't loving the first part of the book, but then the second half of the book I absolutely loved. And so I'm hoping that this book is the same case. It's that it takes a little bit to get into, but then I really enjoy it. So the next book that I've set aside to hopefully get to is Accidentally Engaged by Farah Heron, and this is a fake dating story. It's about this girl, what is her name? Rena. She doesn't want to be set up by her parents any longer, and so she enlists a friend, or I think a friend. I don't know. She enlists someone to be her fake boyfriend slash fiance to keep her parents from continually setting her up with potential husbands. And so I love a good fake dating storyline, and so I'm looking forward to getting into this one. And the next book that I picked up to possibly read is How Sweet It Is by Dylan Newton, and this is a book that I saw in the library. I saw the cover. I did a very quick read of the synopsis, and it seems like it's going to be another cute, contemporary, cozy read about two people that have a funny meet cute, and everything under the sun ensues. So I'm looking forward to getting to this. Two books I'm going to talk about are the possible books that my husband and I will start reading together after we finish Hollowpox, which will probably be tonight. And the choices we have are The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart or Red Rising by Pierce Brown. We have the complete series of both of these, and we have started this. We've actually started both of these, but have never finished either one. And so we just watched the Disney series on the Mysterious Benedict Society, and absolutely loved the series. It was so fun. We'll pick up one of these two to read together. I just don't know which one we're going to choose. So the next book I am for sure picking up, it was actually on my September TBR, but I didn't get to it, and that is Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell. This is a reread for me, and hopefully I'm going to be buddy reading this with someone. Hopefully. I'm going to contact her and see if she wants to buddy read this with me. She has not read it yet, but I have, and so I want to continue. I want to finish this series, but I have to read the first two books again before I can read the third and the fourth, because I don't remember all the details. So, last book that I possibly will pick up in October is The Goblet of Fire, the illustrated edition. I just finished Prisoner of Azkaban. I mean, it's only fitting to start this. I probably will not finish it unless I just need a good comfort read, and yeah, so that would be this. And I have not looked at any of the illustrations. I did that with the last three books. I would not let myself look at the illustrations. I wanted to experience the illustrations as I was reading the story. So, okay guys, so those are the books that I will be choosing from in the month of October. Definitely won't be finishing all of these, but maybe I can finish all of these. I do have readathons that I'm going to be participating in, and I've been making reading a priority. So we'll see how many books I can get through. Just like choices. And so I just picked out a few books that I could choose from, because sometimes it's hard to like look at all of your shelves and decide. So, okay, let me know one of your favorite books that you read in the month of September. Let me know some of the books that you're going to be reading in October. And guys, I hope you're having a great reading month, a great reading year, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye!